everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being back. Today we're gonna do a reading wrap up. I haven't done one in like a good 2 months, so today we're gonna do November wrap up, and I'm gonna add the books that I read in October as well, because we're here, we might as well. It was a good reading month. It had highs and lows, both November and October. Also, oh my god, let me show you what just came in. You probably don't even care, but look what just came in the post. This wasn't even intentional. I didn't know it was coming today. I'm so excited. Anyway, these are the books that I read in October and November, and I have one more on Kindle. I'm not gonna go in order. I'm just gonna pick. I've had almost 5 stars and I've had 2.5s. So we've had a good range. I think we should start with my favorite books of this 2 months. I've read The Right Move and Caught Up. You might have seen me read The Right Move because I made a video of reading the highest rated and the lowest rated book on my TBR, and The Right Move was the highest rated. I've read these two. I've read this in October. I've read this literally yesterday. This is actually my December TBR. Spoiler alert for my December TBR cart jar video, and I read it in a day. So I read it the 30th of November. I already had read Mile High. You have to read these books. Do you know, I actually have no words how good these two were. If you don't know about the Windy City series, it's an interconnected standalone series of sport romances, and every book so far has been a different sport. So the first book was hockey, the second book is basketball, third book was baseball. The main character are Ryan and Indy. Ryan is the twin brother of the main girl of the first book, so that's why they are interconnected. And Indy is her best friend. This is brother's best friend, and it's fake dating, it's sport romance. He's they're very grumpy sunshine. She's literally like a ball of sunshine. She loves everyone, loves love, hopeless romantic, and he doesn't date, he doesn't care about anyone. She's just been broken up with. She was engaged for many years to a boy, and then they broke up, and she has nowhere to live because she used to live with her ex-fiance, and now she needs a place to stay, and he has a spacious apartment. So his sister is like, please Ryan, I need you to give Indy a place to stay for a little bit until she can get enough money to pay rent and then move out. He has to have like a nice image. He's never had a girlfriend. So he's like agent manager person. He's like, you need to have a better image. So a good way to do that is to have a girlfriend. So they fake dating. It's so good. It's so good. I was giggling and laughing. I read this in 2 days. It was so good, even though it's 500 pages. I would push and say I give it 4.5 stars just because it is way too long. Like, I believe that romance books shouldn't be longer than 380 pages, 400 pages pushing it. But I really enjoyed it. I love the characters. Ryan Shea, y'all, I get it now. I get the Ryan Shea hype. He is almost perfect. The only boy more perfect than him is him. I swear to fucking God. I don't know where's Liz Tomford has been my whole life. I'm gonna read everything she's ever written now. It was so good. I gave this on 4.5 as well. It wasn't a 5 just because I had one thing just bothered me a little bit, but it was so small. But so it wasn't a 5 star. And once again, a little bit too long. But this one instead is still sport romance. This is baseball, and this one is a single dad age gap. This is like the sport romance version of Heartless by Elsie Silver. She's the nanny. She is the daughter of his like team manager. She is a very famous, very successful chef, but she's been going through a little bit of a rough time because she's going through burnout. So she needs a summer off. So she decides to go with her dad, still do something and help with the team. She decides to look after his son. He's a single dad. The mom is not in the picture, and they're called Kai and Miller. And when I tell you, Miller is one of my favorite female main characters I've ever read about. She is outstanding. She's so funny. She's so straight to the point, so confident, so good. Like, she's just good. She's 25 and he's 32, I believe. So there is a bit of an age gap. I loved it so much. These books have this feeling of found family because obviously all of them then have family dinner together, all the 3 couples of the 3 books. Oh, it's just so, it literally gives warm, fuzzy feelings. Like, I read this in 24 hours. look how big this is. 24 hours. I hadn't read a book in 24 hours in months and months and months. I strongly recommend reading these books. The spice level is not extremely high, but there is some for sure. And it's just like the banter, the dialogue is so easy to read. Oh, read this. Next one, I have Happy Place by Emily Henry. It was the last book by Emily Henry that I hadn't read, and I know she has a new one coming out soon, I think in 2025, and I'm so excited for that. I enjoyed this book. I just enjoy Emily Henry's writing. Like, she's just a great writer. I didn't love this couple. I was kind of like borderline indifferent to them, but I really loved the setting. I really liked the plot. I think the plot was fun, and I loved the found family vibe to it. This is a second chance romance, which is not usually my favorite, do you know? This talks about a friend group that every year they go on holiday together, and they're very close. Like, they're very close friends. But obviously, lately they've been growing apart a little bit because they've been growing up. So obviously they have problems and they have things in life to deal with. But you know, they know that for sure every year they have that holiday. But this year, the holiday house that they go to every year is gonna get sold. So it's gonna be the last one. The two main characters, Harriet and Wynne, decide not to tell their friendship groups that they actually have broken up months ago. So they pretend to still be together. They pretend to still be boyfriend and girlfriend and to be in love. And I enjoyed it. I really liked it. It was just not my favorite. It had some sad moments in it for sure, because like every single Emily Henry book, they have daddy issues, mommy issues. I feel like it's a recurring theme for Emily Henry's characters to have either mommy issues or daddy issues. It happened again. I loved the setting of the cottage where they were at. The holiday place felt so nice to read about, and kind of makes you think a lot as well, because of course I'm growing up, you know, like I'm seeing my friends maybe like once every 3 months, once every 4 months. The ones, especially the ones back in Italy, I don't see them often. I enjoyed it. It was fine. I just don't think it was my favorite of Emily Henry's. It was alright. I gave it 4 stars because the writing and the characters and the setting I really enjoyed. I just didn't care about the couple that much. I don't really love when a couple is already in love before the book starts. But yeah, I just didn't bond with the couple too much, but I still give it 4 stars because the writing is Emily Henry. So next book that I'm going to talk about is The Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. So when I was 13-14, I read the whole Shadowhunters, like the Mortal Instruments 6 books, and not to be dramatic, but it changed my life. Changed my life. I was obsessed with it. I was obsessed with the movie when it came out. I didn't really love the TV show. This trilogy called The Infernal Devices is in the universe of the Shadowhunters universe, you know. This trilogy and like the rest of the Shadowhunters world kept popping up on my For You page on TikTok, and I was like, oh, why do I want to read it? And Emily, one of my best friends, has read them all, and she was like, no, you will love it. Like, trust me, you will love it. So I was like, fuck it, okay, I'll buy them. And I bought all 3 of them, and I read the first one, and I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I was about to give it a little bit more, maybe 4.25. I enjoyed it so much. It was just so nice to be back in this universe. Nostalgic. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if I would like it as much if I didn't read the other ones when I was younger and they meant so much to me. But it's so nice because there's so many little hints to the Mortal Instruments, and it's like, it's just such a warm feeling. I don't know how to explain it. I'm actually right now reading the second one. So I started today. So I'm very excited. It had a crazy cliffhanger. It's fantasy, obviously, because it's Shadowhunters. So it's like these supernatural, they're not really supernatural. They're just very powerful humans with angel blood in them that are fighting demons. The main girl here is not a Shadowhunters. She is actually just a human that turns out to have some powers. She's called Tessa Gray, and so she ends up at the Institute with all the Shadowhunters, and 2 of these Shadowhunters are Jem and Will, which I can smell the love triangle. It hasn't really happened yet. Like, the love triangle hasn't happened yet, but you can tell it's gonna happen. She definitely had a thing with one of them. And this is set in Victorian London. So this is back in the 1800s, 1700s. It's a period piece, but at the same time you get Shadowhunters. So it's so cool. And it's set in London, and I live in London. So I love how they talk about London, and I'm like, I know what you're talking about. I'm there. Tessa is like looking for her brother. Her brother has disappeared, so that's what got her into the Institute asking for help, and so many things happen. So many, like, so many things happen, and there's like shocking moment and plot twist and betrayal and friendship, and I really enjoyed it. So far the love story was minimal but was there, which I love when it's a slow burn, and I can feel it happening with the other. And if you read The Mortal Instruments when you were younger, you definitely have to. And if you haven't read The Mortal Instruments, maybe read them too. Next, we're going to talk about Sharp Object. I read it on my Kindle. Sharp Object was probably my least favorite book I read the last 2 months. Sharp Object by Gillian Flynn talks about this reporter called Camille, that she has to go back to her hometown to report about a murder that has happened. Actually, 2 murders that have happened in her hometown. And the murders are of 2 little girls, separated by months. 2 little girls, one was a couple months ago and one is recently. And these 2 little girls have been killed and found without teeth. Yep, kind of dark. She needs to report about it while the police obviously is investigating, and she befriends one of the policemen, so she has like a little bit of an insider helping her like report everything, and she wants to find out who the hell did this, because this is such a small hometown, nothing really ever happened, and now boom, 2 like crazy murders have happened. I predicted immediately who did it. It was very obvious to me. So that's why I didn't enjoy it, because I was like, the whole time I was kind of mad at the main character, because I was like, how can you not see it? Like, because I could see it immediately. Like on page 5, I was like, oh, obviously. So it bothered me a little bit. Her family situation was questionable, and that's why she left years ago and she went to live somewhere else. I was just uncomfortable the whole time. I was annoyed the whole time. And I didn't care for it. I didn't care about the characters. I didn't care about anyone in there. Not one person in there I cared about. And I didn't like being in the mind of the main character. The mind of the main character was annoying to me, because to me she was just fucking stupid. How could you not see that? This was my book club book of the month, and a lot of my friends enjoyed it very much. I just found it disturbing but boring at the same time. Somehow I didn't care about it. I feel like a thriller, you need to get me. I need to be invested in caring, and I need to want to know what happened. Oh my god, I didn't care. But hey, maybe you'll love it. Give it a go. And if you're looking for like a light read, maybe don't pick the one about murders of little girls without teeth. Talking about thrillers, The Paris Apartment. I gave The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley 4 stars. And at the beginning, I thought it was going to be a 3-star, but the ending really surprised me. It was a bit of a slower start. The beginning I thought was a bit slow. It took like a good 150 pages for you to like get into the story. But once you're in, that was fun. It was a fun ending. And I thought I predicted the ending, and then a twist happened and I was wrong. So I enjoyed that, obviously. Like, say, this is what I want. I don't want to be able to know. So Ben moved to Paris a while ago. His sister was coming over to his apartment. She shows up, rings the doorbell. He doesn't answer. And she's like, I just talked to him. I swear I just talked to him. He was gonna let me in as soon as I came in. Where is he? He doesn't respond. She manages to get her way in. He's not in his apartment. He's nowhere to be found. He doesn't answer his phone. And he's not that kind of guy that just disappears, you know. Where is he gone? Where is he? Is he alive? Is he dead? So Jess, the sister, starts investigating what happened, what's going on, where is Ben? In this apartment, there's other people. There's the lonely wife, the party animal, the curtain twitcher, the secret lover, the watchful caretaker, and the unwanted guest. The unwanted guest is Jess. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of characters. This was one of those books that you have to be paying attention, because there's so many characters and the point of view of pretty much all of them. But I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed how multifaceted all the characters were. All of them were way more than what you thought. And there was so much more to the story that you didn't know. And some characters didn't even know the whole story. I enjoyed the ending. I really liked it. It was a 4-star for me. It wasn't like mind-shattering incredible, but it was fun. It was fun to read. It was a bit of a slower beginning, but the end I really enjoyed it. Last but not least, I read The Ex-Hex in October, because I was like, oh, it's October time, it's spooky season, let's read it. And it was the same video that I did reading the lowest rated and highest rated book on my TBR, and this was my lowest rated. Do I agree with it being the lowest rated? Probably not. It was okay. It was rated around the 3 stars just because it's such a silly, cute little spooky rom-com. So you can't really give it higher than a 3 star just because it's so surface level. There was not one deep conversation going on in this book. And sometimes you need a book like that. You need a silly little easy palette cleanser. And this was exactly that. The main characters are Vivian and Reese. Vivian and Reese were together years ago, 9 years ago. And then he broke her heart. And she, by mistake and as a joke when she was a little bit drunk, she cursed him. Now, she's a witch, so the curse happened and worked. But they didn't know until 9 years later when he comes back to the town and weird things start happening and this whole town start having problems. And that's because of the curse that she placed on him 9 years ago. So now they need to work together to, you know, find a way to break this curse. And it was silly. And it was silly and surface level and not deep at all. It was just easy. It was technically second chance romance, but you get like a couple of flashbacks, so you get like the backstory. It was just easy and cute and kind of funny. I laughed. It was funny at times. So I think I gave it 3 stars or something like that, just because like you can't really give it more than that because it was just a bit too simple at times. And I read it in spooky season, which I thought was appropriate. And I actually own the second one, so I might read it at one point. So this was my October and November wrap up. Also, I made a new book talk account on TikTok. There's just about books because I have my main account as usual, but then I made a book talk account. So if you want to go and follow, it's called Asia's Book Talk. I'd love you to come along there as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe here as well, please. It does help a lot. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Let me know what books you've read this month. I really want to know. I need TBR recommendations, guys. I'll see you next time. Ciao.